Today I'll teach you how to make an official Buena Vista Irish coffee. The Buena Vista Cafe is located in San Francisco, California, and was the first bar in America to serve Irish coffees back in 1952. This is a great coffee because it's not too rich and it's pretty simple to make. The first thing to think about when making one of these coffees is glassware. This is a 6-ounce Buena Vista Irish coffee glass. The size is more important than the shape. You just want to make sure you have a stem on the glass because we're going to be heating it. It's going to be very hot. And we're going to be putting a head of foam on this coffee, so you want to keep it around 6-7 ounces. That way all your proportions will be correct. So the second thing you need is black coffee. And you can use a Colombian blend, or we use just the original Dunkin' Donuts blend. The key is to use a coffee that you would normally drink, that you would normally enjoy, just nothing hazelnut or flavored. And the next thing you're going to need is a sugar to sweeten the drink. And what they use at the Buena Vista Cafe is sugar cubes. And these are 2 grams a piece, Domino pure cane sugar cubes. They're pretty cheap, they last forever. We use 2 cubes per drink. If you don't have cubes, you can just measure out 4 grams of granulated cane sugar. And the next thing you're going to want is the business part of this cocktail, which is the Irish whiskey. And here we're going to use Tullamore Dew, which is a triple distilled blended Irish whiskey. It's what they use at the Buena Vista. They actually have their own blend of Tullamore Dew. And you can use Jameson or another Irish whiskey if you want. Most Irish whiskeys are pretty delicate and lend themselves well to this cocktail. I would just stay away from a bourbon or a scotch or any other type of whiskey that's a lot more flavorful. So lastly, we will need some heavy whipping cream. You want to stick to the heavy whipping cream. It's important that it sits on top of the drink and does not mix with the rest of the contents of the cocktail. So the first thing we want to do is heat our glass. And what I've done here is microwaved just a little Pyrex container of water. If you have a coffee maker that you can just make hot water with, that will also work. So we'll pour that in all the way up and get the glass nice and hot. And the first thing we're going to do once we have the glass heated up is add our sugar cubes, and then we're going to fill the glass 3/4 of the way with hot coffee. So we'll get our cubes ready, pour the hot water out of the glass, throw the cubes in, and then fill the glass. It'll end up being about 4 to 4.5 ounces. Give it a couple stirs just to dissolve the sugar. And then you want to measure out your whiskey. The Buena Vista Cafe in San Francisco calls for around 1.25 ounces to 1.5 ounces of whiskey. I generally use between 3/4 and 1 ounce. Just depends on what your taste preference is. I would suggest to start with about 1 ounce, and then you can adjust from there, depending on how much you want to taste the whiskey, how much you want it to come through in the drink. So we add the whiskey, and then you're going to want to give it another couple stirs just to make sure that the sugar is dissolved and that the drink is nice and consistent. And then we get to the messiest part of this drink, but we've kind of found a way to make it a little bit less messy. So this is your whipping cream, and you want to whip it just frothy enough that it will sit on top of the drink and not mix with the drink. But you want it to be a little bit runny. It's kind of what creates the interesting feel to this cocktail. So you pour a little bit of cream in a disposable cup. That way you don't have to clean it. And traditionally I used a cake mixer, but it's a little bit too messy. It causes for a lot of cleanup. And if you don't want to make a mess, you can invest $15 on Amazon. And this is a little battery operated milk frother. It's faster than this cake mixer. You just put it in there, turn it on, mix it up a little bit to where it's to the right consistency, and then we're going to pour it over a spoon when we add it to the drink to make sure that it doesn't mix with the drink. So we slowly pour on our cream. And that's our Irish coffee. Just a couple of pieces of advice for this coffee. You want to drink it through the cream. And the cream actually has a nice ability to chill the drink. Since it's hot coffee and it's a heated glass, you can pretty much drink it right off the bat, unless your coffee is super hot, which is kind of one of the nice things about this drink. And then you want to make sure not to add Baileys. You don't want to be that guy, but actually at the Buena Vista, they will let you add it if you ask for it. So if you taste it and you don't like it, it's not sweet enough, you can always add Baileys. But you can drink this before or after dinner. We actually drink it as an aperitif before dinner, but there's really not a bad time to drink this Irish coffee. Cheers.